It could turn aggressive very easily. I'll go. I know how to deflect a blow, said Sylssa assuringly. Before anyone could stop her, she was already 3 steps in front of them. Things turned out badly for her, as the rattling of her armor scared away the creature, which, in pain, hastily flew away in a feat of incredible dexterity. Ryuk couldn't contain a burst of supercilious laughter. Next time, leave it to the sorcerer. We know better than brutishness. Shut up, nerd. You probably would have killed it. It's better like this, she retorted. Pridefully ignoring the group's mockery, Sylssa made her way through her companions and quickly returned to the path of exploration. The newborn Resilience Party continued on its path to discover the origins of this strange affliction affecting almost all of their brethren. After walking through miles of seemingly normal terrain, although certainly exotic, Ryuk spotted something that would change the direction of their pursuit. A strange shadow, gazing at them maliciously while hiding its hideous form between a pair of large, mossy rocks. Immediately after noticing the onlooking orcs, the dark figure hissed and retreated into a cavernous gap that penetrated into the side of a hill. Following its steps, the brave party quickly found itself looking down on a pitch-black entrance to what seemed to be a twisting network of tunnels. The orcs looked at each other with hesitation in their eyes. Dark vision was not one of the gifts Mother Nature bestowed upon the orcish race. Ryuk struggled his way through the broad shoulders of his companions, physically smaller than the other members of the party, but as valiant as the best of them. Once he was directly in front, he proclaimed, "Not to worry, blood of my blood. I will light the way." Yark chuckled. "Where'd you read that, kid? One of those dusty fantasy books back in Orakion?" Before Sylssa or Yark could mock his heroic announcement any further, a luminous fire sprouted from the palm of his hand, 5 times as bright as a common torch. While his companions were still spooked by the sudden burst of flame, he playfully retorted, "Shh, Grandpa. If you live long enough, you might be as cool as me one day. I wouldn't count on it, though." "You little." As the radiance made its way into the tunnels, monstrous hissing echoed out of the entrance, cutting off Yark's retort and sending more than a few shivers through the body of the questing orcs. Swallowing their fear in the name of the queen, they puffed their chests, drew their blades, and slowly crouched into the caverns. Even though arcane fire doesn't emit heat, sweat dripped down the bodies of Yark, Ryuk, and Sylssa as they made their way into the obscure tunnels. Faint monstrous echoes resonating in the distance, claustrophobic passages, and horrific crawling bugs made sure no one could completely keep their cool, not physically at least. After a few minutes of tunnel crawling, Sylssa exclaimed, "Can someone remind me why we're following a goddamn creepy shadow?" "I'll be sure to tell you, as soon as I finish wiping the bugs off my damn body," replied Yark as he pulled a handful of strange centipedes from inside his pants. "Stay determined, comrades. We've only just begun our trip into the bowels of Seamstone, it seems," proclaimed Ryuk as he crawled out of the small tunnel into a larger cavern. A few meters in, an eerie bifurcation presented itself. 3 dark paths, each scarier than the last, were the only way forward for the brave orcs. Sylssa, trained in the scouting profession like all warrior orcs, was to begin inspecting them for clues of what they were facing. "This one on the left, it has scratch and claw marks. Might be worth checking out?" Thoughtfully, Ryuk replied, "Perhaps, but specters shouldn't leave scratch marks, should they? They're incorporeal, at least according to what I've read." Sylssa nodded with uncertainty. "Are we even sure these are specters?" Meanwhile, Yark gazed into the path on the right, seemingly sensing something. I think we should go through this one, fellas. I feel a weird energy coming from below. It's calling me. Let's just go through the middle one, guys. I've read that they're often the safe. A sudden rockfall in the middle path cut off Ryuk's phrase. For a moment, it seemed like the entire tunnel system could collapse, burying them all. As the earth's rumbling and the clouds of fine cavernous dust subsided, Eok looked at the sorcerer with a mix of snobbishness and disdain. That's all books are good for, kid. Wiping one's ass and getting killed. Visibly offended, Ryuk scrambled for a reply. Then, maybe you should read one. Then we wouldn't have to put up with your... Shut up, idiots. This cavern could collapse too. We gotta move. Decision 2. Which way to go? Left, A. Right, B.